Welcome to Conversion Bible, powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. Today we're diving deep into something absolutely vital for any successful Shopify store: navigation. You know it's that roadmap that guides your customers through your store, helps them discover those amazing products you've got, and ultimately nudges them towards hitting that buy button.
It's fascinating how often we as online shoppers only notice navigation when it's done poorly. When it's seamless, we glide through a website effortlessly, but when it's clunky or confusing, it can be a real turnoff.
Totally. And the stats actually prove that out. Did you know that a whopping 94% of online users say intuitive navigation is the most important feature of a website?
Yeah.
That's huge. So if your Shopify navigation isn't top-notch, you could be missing out on a ton of potential customers.
That's right. And it raises a key question. What actually makes for intuitive navigation? To crack that code, we need to step into our customers' shoes. What are their needs? How do they expect to find things?
Okay, let's break this down. Where do we even begin? What are the fundamental elements of Shopify navigation that every store owner should wrap their head around?
Think of it like a hierarchy. Your main menu, usually at the top, is prime real estate. This is where you showcase your most important categories or pages. Think of it as the storefront window to your shop. Then we have the footer, often tucked away at the bottom. It's a great spot for less urgent but still important information, like shipping policies, contact details, or those frequently asked questions.
And then there are those secondary navigation
I'm
elements,
like,
right?
yeah.
Like those side menus or quick links sprinkled throughout the site. I've seen some stores use them really effectively to highlight sales or new arrivals, things that grab the shopper's attention.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about collection integration. Shopify's collections feature lets you group related products together, making it a breeze for customers to browse and discover. Think shoes, dresses, or new arrivals.
So we've got all these elements. How do we actually structure them in a way that makes sense? So our customers aren't left scratching their heads.
You hit the nail on the head. Simplicity reigns supreme. Remember the 7 plus or minus 2 rule? It's a cognitive principle suggesting that people can only hold a limited number of items in their short-term memory at once. When it comes to website navigation, aim for even fewer items in your main menu. 5 is a good starting point. It forces you to prioritize and highlight only the absolute essentials. This way, you're not overwhelming visitors with too many options right off the bat.
That makes a ton of sense. But it's not just about keeping things concise, right? It also needs to be logical. The menu should be organized in a way that feels natural to the shopper, mirroring how they actually think about your products.
Absolutely. Customer-centric categories are key. Will your audience be more likely to search by product type, style, purpose, or perhaps even usage? Understanding this will guide you towards creating a truly intuitive structure.
Yeah. Okay, so we've nailed the basic structure, keeping it simple and logical. What about the visual aspect? How do we ensure our navigation actually guides the eye and makes those important links stand out?
That's where visual hierarchy comes into play. Think of it as a visual language that helps us prioritize information. Bold text, white space, strategic use of color, contrast all these elements work together to highlight the most important items. For example, a well-placed new arrivals link in a contrasting color can really draw attention and entice those curious clicks.
Right, and it's got to be consistent across the entire website. Nothing's more jarring than the navigation suddenly changing style or placement from page to page.
Right.
It's like walking into a different store every time you enter a new room.
You nailed it. Consistent navigation patterns are essential for a smooth, cohesive user experience. Think of it as a familiar landmark in a city. It helps people feel oriented and confident as they explore.
So we've covered the desktop experience, but let's be real. Mobile is where it's at these days. How do we optimize our navigation for those smaller screens? After all, people are shopping on their phones more than ever before.
That's a crucial point, and it's where things get really interesting. Mobile presents unique challenges. You're working with limited screen space, shorter attention spans, and the need for quick context-based shopping. Think about it. When you're on your phone, you want to find what you're looking for and check out fast.
So what are our options? How do we create a mobile navigation experience that doesn't feel like trying to squeeze into a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small?
We've got a few trusty tools in our mobile design arsenal. The hamburger menu, that iconic 3-line icon, is a classic space saver and instantly recognizable to most users. Then there are bottom navigation bars, which are becoming increasingly popular. They keep those key links within easy thumb reach, perfect for one-handed scrolling on the go. In fact, did you know that studies show bottom navigation tabs can see a whopping 86% higher engagement than other mobile menu styles?
Wow, 86%. That's huge. I'm starting to see why those bottom navigation bars are taking over. But are there other mobile-friendly approaches we should be considering?
Definitely. Card-based navigation, which displays options as visually appealing cards, can be super effective for certain stores, especially those with visually driven products. And then there's always the option of a hybrid approach, combining a few visible links with a hamburger menu for secondary items. It's all about finding the right balance between accessibility and keeping things visually clean.
No matter which approach we choose, though, it's got to be touch-friendly, right? We want to avoid those frustrating moments where you're trying to tap a tiny link with your finger and end up hitting the wrong thing.
Absolutely. Optimal touch targets are crucial. Those clickable elements need to be large enough for fingers to tap accurately, especially when people are browsing on the go. And thumb-friendly placement is another biggie, especially for users who are scrolling with one hand. We also can't forget about performance. In the mobile world, speed is king. Slow-loading menus will frustrate shoppers and potentially send them running to your competitor.
Okay, so we've laid the foundation with those basic principles and tackled the world of mobile optimization. But how do we take things to the next level? Are there any advanced navigation techniques that can really elevate the customer experience?
There are, and that's what we'll dive into next. Get ready to unlock some serious navigation superpowers. Let's talk about mega menus. They're fantastic for larger stores with extensive catalogs. Think of them as those expansive menus you see on websites like Amazon or Best Buy, where you hover over a category and this whole world of subcategories and options unfolds before your eyes.
Mega menus sound incredibly helpful for those bigger stores,
Mhm.
but I can also see how they could easily become overwhelming if not done right. It's like opening a treasure chest only to find it's filled with a jumbled mess instead of neatly organized gems. How do we avoid creating that dreaded mega mess?
That's where a keen eye for organization comes in. Think of your mega menu as a mini website within your website. It needs clear headings, intuitive grouping, and perhaps even visual cues like columns or images to break up the content and make it easily digestible.
So instead of just throwing every single subcategory into the mix, we need to think about how those subcategories relate to each other and present them in a way that makes sense visually.
Precisely. And many Shopify themes actually have built-in support for mega menus, which can make implementation a breeze.
That's a relief. I was starting to envision lines of code swirling around in my head.
No need for coding panic attacks just yet. Now let's shift gears and talk about search. A well-placed and effective search bar is like a navigational shortcut. It empowers those shoppers who know exactly what they want to bypass the menu altogether and get straight to the point.
I love a good search bar, especially when I'm in a hurry or know specifically what I'm looking for. No need to waste time clicking through endless categories.
Exactly. And there are ways to make search even more powerful and intuitive. Auto-suggest features, for example, can anticipate what a user is typing and offer relevant product suggestions or popular searches in real time.
It's like having a mind-reading shopping assistant.
Yeah.
You start typing Bellin and boom, suggestions for blue dresses, blouses, black jeans all pop up.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining the discovery process and helping customers find what they want as quickly as possible. And speaking of streamlining, let's talk about another game changer, filtered navigation.
Oh yeah, those filters are a lifesaver, especially when you're browsing a large catalog and need to narrow down the options.
Think of them as your virtual shopping assistance collection filters. Allow shoppers to refine their search based on specific attributes like size, color, price range, brand, you name it. It's like having a personal stylist who instantly curates a selection based on your preferences.
I've definitely noticed those filters becoming more and more common across online stores. It makes the shopping experience so much more efficient and less overwhelming.
Absolutely. And then we have faceted navigation, which takes things a step further. Imagine allowing shoppers to combine multiple filters at once, say filtering by size, then color, then brand, all in one go.
So it's like layering those filters on top of each other to get super specific results.
Right.
It's filtering on steroids.
It is. It's all about giving your shoppers the power to refine their search with laser focus and find that perfect product that ticks all their boxes.
Okay, we're officially in the realm of navigation wizardry. What about dynamic and personalized navigation that sounds futuristic?
It is futuristic, and it's becoming increasingly important in today's world of personalized experiences. Imagine menus that adapt based on each user's browsing history, past purchases, or even their location.
So if someone has been browsing hiking boots on my site, The next time they visit my navigation could subtly highlight my outdoor gear categories, like my store is anticipating their needs.
That's the idea. And it can go even deeper. Personalized recommendations, region-specific links, tailored promotions based on browsing behavior. It's all about creating a unique and relevant experience for each individual shopper.
That's amazing. It's like each shopper gets their own customized version of my store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm officially blown away by all these advanced techniques, but all this talk about mega menus, dynamic navigation, and personalized experiences has me wondering, how do we actually implement this stuff in Shopify? Is it all super technical and code heavy?
Don't worry. It's more manageable than you might think. Let's demystify the process a bit.
I'm all ears. I was about to have a code-induced panic attack.
First off, we have theme navigation customization. Most Shopify themes come equipped with built-in settings that allow you to tweak the layout and functionality of your menus without needing to write a single line of code. You can typically choose which menu serves as your header or footer, make adjustments to font styles and colors, and even add those handy drop-down menus.
So even someone with limited technical skills can make some impactful changes right within those theme settings. It's encouraging.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to venture beyond those basic settings and get a bit more customized, you might need to dip your toes into some code, but fear not. It's not as daunting as it sounds.
Okay, I'm listening. Cautiously.
Shopify uses a templating language called Liquid, and your navigation code typically lives within the header. Liquid file of your theme. Don't let those terms scare you if you're comfortable making some basic text edits. You can adjust things like the number of menu levels, add custom menu items, or even incorporate those fancy snippets we talked about earlier for mega menus or dynamic content.
So it's like giving our navigation a little bit of a custom makeover.
Yeah.
But what if we want those really advanced features like mega menus or personalized navigation without having to become coding wizards?
That's where the magic of Shopify apps comes in. There's a whole universe of apps designed specifically to supercharge your store's navigation want mega menus without the coding hassle. There's an app for that need advanced filtering options to make your customers' lives easier. There's an app for that too.
It's like having a toolbox full of navigation superpowers. But with so many apps out there, how do we even begin to choose the right ones for our store?
That's a great question. First and foremost, look for apps with solid reviews and a proven track record. It's also crucial to think carefully about the specific features you need and how those features will integrate with your current theme. Remember, it's a balancing act. You want to enhance your navigation, but too many apps can sometimes slow down your site, so choose wisely.
Great advice. So let's say we've mastered the technical side of things. Are there any other factors we should be considering to create a truly exceptional navigation experience? Because at the end of the day, it's all about making life easier for our shoppers.
Your spot-on navigation isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. The ideal strategy will vary depending on the type of store you're running, the size of your catalog, and the unique needs of your target audience.
That makes sense. A store with a massive product catalog will have different navigation needs than a small niche boutique.
Exactly. Let's break it down and explore some tailored approaches.
Let's do it, starting with those large catalog stores. What are some key considerations for them?
For starters, organization becomes paramount. Think about creating a clear, scalable hierarchy with broad categories that branch out into more specific subcategories. It's like creating a well-organized library where everything has its place and customers can easily find what they're looking for without getting lost in a sea of books.
So it's all about creating a system that can grow with your business. You don't want your navigation to become a bottleneck as you add more products.
Exactly, and don't be afraid to embrace the concept of cross-categorization. Some products might naturally fit into multiple sections, and that's perfectly fine. You can leverage Shopify's collections feature to ensure those versatile products are discoverable from multiple entry points.
So it's like creating multiple pathways for customers to find those popular items. Makes sense. Okay, large catalogs are all about organization and scalability.
Yeah.
What about those smaller niche stores? How should they approach navigation?
For those niche boutiques, it's all about focus and storytelling. Your navigation should be a reflection of your brand's unique personality and the special value proposition you offer to your customers.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, it's about showcasing what makes your store special and curating a more focused experience.
Precisely, don't overwhelm customers with too many options. Instead, highlight the key categories and products that truly set you apart. Use your navigation to guide customers through a carefully curated experience, showcasing the craftsmanship, quality, or unique features that make your product stand out from the crowd.
So it's less about breadth and more about depth. Less is more right.
Exactly. Think about incorporating elements of storytelling into your menu labels instead of just products. Consider something more evocative, like are handmade creations or ethically sourced treasures. It's about creating an emotional connection through the navigation itself.
I love that it's like each menu label becomes a little window into your brand story. Now, what about those B2B businesses? Are there any specific navigation considerations they should keep in mind?
B2B navigation often requires a slightly different approach. Think about the needs of those business buyers. They're often looking for efficiency, streamlined transactions, and specific features that cater to their business operations.
So it's less about browsing and leisurely discovery and more about getting down to business literally.
Exactly. Make sure key features like quick reorders, account management tools, or bulk ordering options are easily accessible within your navigation structure. These are the things that will make your B2B customers' lives easier.
Well, it's about understanding their priorities and catering to their workflow.
Mm.
What about things like account-specific navigation or industry-specific terminology? Are those important factors to consider in the B2B world?
Absolutely. You might want to show different pricing or product catalogs to logged-in business users compared to regular retail customers, and it's always a good idea to research industry standards. If applicable, some industries have specific terminology or expectations when it comes to navigation. So aligning with those conventions can make a big difference in creating a seamless experience for your B2B clients.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from basic principles to advanced techniques, and even how to tailor navigation to different store types. It's clear that a well-designed navigation system is the backbone of any successful Shopify store.
It truly is. But the journey doesn't end there. Once you've laid that solid foundation, it's time to shift our focus to testing, analyzing, and continuously optimizing your navigation for peak performance.
It's like taking our navigation to the gym and putting it through a rigorous workout routine, but that's a deep dive for another day. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore the world of user testing analytics and A/B testing and how to use data to create a truly customer-centric navigation experience. Welcome back to Conversion Bible, powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. Okay, so in the last 2 parts, we've built a solid understanding of the key principles and techniques of Shopify navigation. But now comes the really fun part, putting our knowledge into action and making sure our navigation is truly hitting the mark.
It's all about putting ourselves in our customers' shoes and seeing our store through their eyes. We need to understand how they're actually experiencing our navigation, where they might be getting stuck, and what we can do to make their journey smoother and more enjoyable.
So we can't just assume our navigation is working flawlessly.
Exactly. We need data to back it up. And one of the best ways to gather those insights is through user testing.
Okay, user testing. I'm intrigued. What are some methods we can use to get real feedback from actual humans?
One of the most effective methods is card sorting. You give a group of people a set of cards, each representing a product or category, and ask them to group those cards into categories that make sense to them. It's like a little puzzle, and it's a fantastic way to see how your target audience naturally thinks about organizing information.
So we're basically tapping into the collective wisdom of our potential customers.
Precisely. Their insights can help you refine your menu structure and ensure it aligns with how people actually search for products. Another valuable method is tree testing. Imagine a simplified version of your sitemap, like a family tree of your navigation. You show testers this text-based representation and ask them to find specific items. It helps you pinpoint any areas where people might get lost or confused, indicating potential trouble spots in your navigation structure.
So if someone's struggling to find those women's winter boots in our tree test, we know we need to take a closer look at that section of our navigation and make it clearer. What about actually seeing people interact with our store in real time?
That's where usability sessions come in. You invite real people to browse your site while you observe their behavior. You're looking for clues. Where do they hesitate? You're looking for clues. Do they click around aimlessly? You're looking for clues. Do they get frustrated? You're looking for clues. Those are telltale signs that something needs improvement. You're looking for clues. And the great thing is there are tools available that can make these testing processes even easier.
This all makes perfect sense, but I'm also a data nerd. How can we use analytics to get a clearer picture of how our navigation is performing?
Analytics are like a treasure trove of insights into user behavior. One key metric to keep an eye on is bounce rate. It tells you how many people land on a page and then immediately leave. If you have a high bounce rate on certain pages, especially key product or category pages, it could indicate that people aren't finding what they're looking for and are bouncing back to Google to continue their search.
So a high bounce rate could be a red flag that our navigation isn't guiding people effectively. What other metrics should we be monitoring?
Time on page is another valuable indicator. If people are spending very little time on certain pages, it might suggest the content isn't engaging, or perhaps they're not finding the links they need to delve deeper into your site.
So we want people to spend enough time to absorb the information and explore, but not so long that they get bored or frustrated.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What about those clicks? How can we track those?
Click-through rates are gold. Monitor how many people are clicking on your main menu links as well as those submenu items. Are certain categories getting a lot of love while others are being neglected? This data can help you prioritize high-traffic sections and perhaps rethink those that aren't getting the attention they deserve.
It's fascinating how we can use data to tell a story about how people are moving through our store. But is there a way to get even more granular and see exactly what people are interacting with on those pages?
Heat maps are your secret weapon for that. They provide a visual representation of where people are clicking, scrolling, and even hovering their mouse. You can see, for example, if people are consistently clicking on a certain area of your mega menu, or if they're completely missing a key call to action button. It's like seeing your website through your customer's eyes.
Okay, so we've gathered all this amazing data through testing and analytics. Now the million-dollar question. How do we actually use these insights to improve our navigation?
This is where the magic of A/B testing comes in. It's all about experimentation. Let's say you have a hypothesis that changing the wording of a menu item will improve click-through rates. With A/B testing, you can test that theory. Show one version of your navigation to half of your visitors and the other version to the other half. Then track the data to see which variation performs better.
So we're letting our customers vote with their clicks.
Exactly. And here's the best part. A/B testing isn't just about quantitative data. You can also gather valuable qualitative feedback through surveys or user interviews. It's about understanding the why behind the numbers.
It sounds like the key takeaway here is to approach navigation optimization as a continuous process. Test, analyze, refine, repeat. It's not a one-and-done deal.
You got it. Your navigation should evolve alongside your business and the ever-changing needs of your customers. It's a living, breathing entity.
Speaking of evolving, let's take a peek into the crystal ball. What trends are on the horizon that might shake things up in the world of Shopify navigation?
Things are always changing in the tech world, and navigation is no exception. We're seeing AI-driven personalization becoming more and more sophisticated. Imagine menus that dynamically adapt to each user's preferences and behavior, almost like a personal shopping assistant guiding them through your store.
So the future of navigation is all about anticipating needs and providing a hyper-personalized experience.
Absolutely. And voice-activated navigation is another exciting development. As more shoppers use voice assistants to search for products, we need to think about how our navigation is structured for those voice queries. And then there's the mind-blowing potential of AR integration. Imagine using augmented reality to virtually navigate through a product catalog or even see how furniture would look in your own home.
Okay, that's officially next-level stuff. Sounds like the possibilities are truly endless.
They are. But no matter how technology evolves, some core principles will always remain crucial. Users crave simplicity. They want ease of use. They want to feel included. Inclusive design, ensuring our navigation is accessible to everyone, is becoming even more critical. And of course, we can't forget about mobile-first design. The majority of online shopping happens on mobile devices these days, so our navigation needs to be optimized for those smaller screens and touch interactions.
So much great information. But for those Shopify store owners feeling overwhelmed, what's one key takeaway they should remember? What's the first step?
Start with an honest audit of your existing navigation. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Are there any obvious roadblocks? Is the structure logical? Can people easily find what they're looking for? Then dive into those user tests, explore your analytics, and don't be afraid to experiment.
It's all about making small changes, testing those changes, and continuously improving. I love that. Well, that brings us to the end of our Shopify navigation deep dive. We've covered a ton of ground, from those basic building blocks to those cutting-edge techniques that are shaping the future of online shopping.
It's been a fantastic journey.
And remember, if you're looking to boost your Shopify sales and conversions, Growth Suite can be your secret weapon. Head over to the Shopify App Store and give it a try. It's free.
And remember, your navigation should be like a friendly and knowledgeable guide, leading your customers on a seamless and enjoyable journey to discover, explore, and ultimately fall in love with your products.
Until next time, happy selling.